welcome to today's Tea You Need to Know. This is the Charlie Kirk Memorial. I just got finished watching President Trump and Erica Kirk do their little send-off. It was really sad. What you're about to watch is just some snippets from the memorial service. It's been going on since 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is 7:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And geez Louise, you had family members. Well, you had Erica Kirk, because I ain't see no family members. You had government people from the White House, Democrats, Republicans, senators, House reps. The who's who was there today. And so I ain't going to talk too much. I'm just going to run these clips for you. But I just wanted to say, just as a independent, as a person who wants to dispel the war that is trying to be created, I am Charlie Kirk. I am a person with an opinion who likes to speak out. And everybody on this app is Charlie Kirk. And I need you to understand that. So
I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the U.S.
Washington, D.C., and now we're going into Memphis, and we'll get that one straightened out fast, and then we're going into some others, but we're going to go to Chicago, and we're going to have Charlie very much in mind when we go into Chicago, and we'll get that one straightened out. You have an incompetent governor who he thinks it's okay when 11 people get murdered over the weekend. He thinks you don't have any crime when 11 people get murdered and 28 people get shot. He says he's got crime. No, they don't have it under control, but we'll have it under control very quickly. So we're going to be doing that. And Charlie loved what we were doing. He was so proud of what happened. He was there to see it. He's so proud of what happened in Washington, D.C. As you know, the depraved assassin who planned and executed Charlie's killing has been arrested and charged with capital murder. God willing, he will receive the full and ultimate punishment for his horrific crime. It's a terrible thing. Because you can't let that happen. You can't let that happen. Can't let it happen to a country. The Department of Justice is also investigating networks of radical left maniacs who fund, organize, fuel, and perpetrate political violence. And we think we know who many of them are. But law enforcement can only be the beginning of our response to Charlie's murder. Over the last 11 days, we have heard stories of commentators, influencers, and others in our society who greeted his assassination with sick approval, excuses, or even jubilation. You've heard that. So have I. Couldn't believe it. Some of the very same people who spent the last 8 years trying to sit in moral judgment of anyone who disagreed with them about politics suddenly started cheering for a murder. Incredible. You know the names. They're major losers, by the way. That will be proven out in a short period of time. Some of the very people who called you a hater for using the wrong pronoun were filled with glee at the killing of a father with 2 beautiful young children. And the same commentators who this week are screaming fascism over a canceled late-night TV show where the anchor had no talent and no ratings, last week were implying that Charlie Kirk deserved what happened to him. No side in American politics has a monopoly on disturbed or misguided people. But there's one part of our political community which believes they have a monopoly on truth, goodness, and virtue, and concludes they have also a monopoly on power, thought, and speech. Well, that's not happening anymore. We've turned that corner very quickly. Tragically, atrocities of this kind, and kind that we saw in Utah, of all places, are the eventual consequence of that kind of thinking. If speech is violence, then some are bound to conclude that violence is justified to stop speech. And we're not going to let that be justified. The tradition of reason and open debate that Charlie practiced is not a pillar of our democracy. In many ways, it's the basis of our entire society. It's the right and inheritance of every free American, the greatest legacy of the Enlightenment, and among the most treasured achievements of civilization. We will defend it at all costs, and we will carry forward the torch of liberty that Charlie Kirk held so proud and so high. He was so proud, and he did hold that torch high. We will never, ever let it fail. We will never let it fail. But we're going to raise it higher than ever before. It's going to be raised, and this is the beginning. Perhaps it should be no surprise that Charlie, who spent his life speaking with the critics of these traditions, ultimately became convinced that we needed not just a political realignment, but also a spiritual reawakening. We did.
Lord, send me. After Charlie finished, I met him backstage, and I spoke to him, and I'll never forget this. I said, "Charlie, baby, please talk to me next time before you say that statement." Because when you say something like that, there is so much power in that verse. When you say, "Here I am, Lord, use me," God will take you up on that. And he did with Charlie. "11 days ago, God accepted that total surrender from my husband and then called him to his side. More than anything, Charlie wanted to do not his will, but God's will. And over these past 11 days, through all the pain, never before have I found as much comfort as I now do in the words of our Lord's Prayer, 'Thy will be done.' God's love was revealed to me on the very day my husband was murdered. On the afternoon of September 10th, I arrived at a Utah hospital to do the unthinkable, to look directly at my husband's murdered body. I saw the wound that ended his life. I felt everything you would expect to feel. I felt shock. I felt horror and a level of heartache that I didn't even know existed. But there was something else too. Even in death, I could see the man that I love. I saw the one single gray hair on the side of his head, which I never told him about. Now he knows. Sorry, baby, I'm telling you now, but never told him. Didn't want to. I also saw this. I also saw on his lips the faintest smile. And that told me something important. It revealed to me a great mercy from God in this tragedy. When I saw that, it told me Charlie didn't suffer. Even the doctor told me It was something so instant that even if Charlie had been shot in the operating room itself, nothing could have been done. There was no pain, there was no fear, no agony. One moment, Charlie was doing what he loved, arguing and debating on campus, fighting for the gospel, truth, in front of a big crowd. And then he blinked. He blinked and saw his Savior in paradise.
To witness the same. Most people don't know this, but Charlie Kirk wanted to go to West Point. It never happened, obviously. His personal loss at that moment was our nation's great gain. Charlie Kirk was a citizen who had the biblical heart of a soldier of the faith, who put on every single day the full armor of God with a smile, as the scriptures tell all Christ followers to do. Charlie Kirk, a warrior for country, a warrior for Christ. He ran the race. He finished the fight. Now it's our turn. My charge to all of you, live worthy of Charlie Kirk's sacrifice and put Christ at the center of your life as he advocated for giving his.
When Charlie would speak on college campuses, he'd often wear t-shirts with inspiring taglines like, "Here I am, never surrender, freedom." But as I've watched back so many clips these past 11 days, my favorite and so often worn by him was "Live Free." 11 days ago, my friend was martyred for using his voice to engage in peaceful dialogue. Charlie's assassin thought that he could steal and silence his voice by putting a bullet in his neck. In the words of Soren Kierkegaard, "The tyrant dies and his rule is over. The martyr dies and his rule has just begun."
Good morning. We had the pastor. I'm the school teacher. I have one short story to tell you about Charlie Kirk, my friend. He became a friend of mine because I interrogated him one time. 19-year-olds are my specialty. I asked him some questions he couldn't answer, and he was already becoming famous. And I noticed his reaction. He said, "What should I do?" And I said, "Well, you have to suffer. If you want to grow, you have to suffer. Hard to learn. Into the night. Crack of dawn in the morning. Start with the Bible. Read the classics. Study the founding of America. In those places, you will find that there's a ladder that reaches up toward God. And at the bottom of it is the ordinary good things that are around us everywhere. If we can call them by their names, they have being. And the beings of the good things are figments of God. You will find that article in Aristotle. You will find it in the Bible. You will find it in Madison and Jefferson. How do I learn that? He said. And I said, you have to suffer. You have to study. You have to think. I thought I'd never hear from him again. Within a month, he got hold of my cell phone number and he texted me a copy of a certificate of completion of a Hillsdale College online course.
Charlie Kirk was scheduled to speak at my husband's upcoming memorial. Instead, I am here speaking at Charlie's memorial. It means a lot to share my story. Almost 12 years ago, I met this bright young man filled with optimism about his plan to reach young people. I was so impressed that I invited him to come to our home and tell my husband and me more about his organization. That young man, of course, was Charlie Kirk, and his organization was Turning Point USA. Charlie told us how he wanted to start 2 chapters in North Florida. When asked how much money it would take, he told us he thought it would take about $50,000. Not knowing anything about this young man except that he sounded impressive, we told him that if he could raise the first half, we would give him the remaining $25,000. 2 days later, Charlie called to say that he had raised the money. He was not in his hometown. He was not even in his home state. He was 20 years.
God be with you. Thank you.